indefatigable to make sure that we can see that wonderful presentation of crocheting and paper mache. God's art. Are you doing that report too? Okay. So since we've already got it set up, we can just keep on going. But I've got another quote for you. And my final quote of the day. If you will turn your agenda over, you will see that I wrote this one down so that you can take it home with you. A single rose can be my garden. A single friend can be my world. By Leo Buscaglia. A single friend can be your world. Our next speaker, who is very slowly getting it together and coming up soon, will be our President, Tony Brooks. He is working on his Advanced Communicator Manual, Persuasive Speaking. Today, he is working on project number 3, which is called The Winning Proposal. Tony has been a Toastmaster since 2016. For tonight's project, Tony will be presenting a cost-saving idea to the Board of Directors of Industrial Repair and Service Incorporated. Woo! Try that one again. He will be presenting a cost-saving idea to the Board of Directors of Industrial Repair and Service Incorporated. You, the members of the audience, will be the Board of the Directors to this particular corporation. And there will be a brief, very brief, because we are definitely running over time, Q&A after the presentation. So as Larry speaks, maybe think of 1 or 2 short questions that you would like to ask him about that presentation. As Tony speaks, did I call you Terry? I called you Larry because Larry walked right by me, okay? Squirrel! No, okay. Please welcome Tony. Okay. Reduce expenses and increase profits. Tony.
All right, Board of Directors, we met the last time we had a goal. We talked about reducing expenses. And so I took an action item to do some research and figure out how we could reduce expenses and increase our profits for our company. First thing I did was I looked to see what our top expenses were. Salary and benefits was the top one. Now, we've looked at this before, and we know that the unemployment rate right now is very low, and we know that other companies would like to have our employees work for them. So we haven't been able to reduce that. In fact, that's inflated a little bit. So that's not a good one to try to reduce. We need to keep our valued employees to remain profitable. The next one was fuel. The next one was taxes. Now, taxes kind of took care of itself. You all know we got a big tax reduction from 35% to 21% by the IRS that was voted in last year. It was effective at the beginning of 2018. The other thing I looked at as one of our top expenses was mortgage or rent. We've already renegotiated or refinanced our mortgage, so that's as low as possible. We did that when the rates were low. So that just leaves fuel. So that's what I'm going to focus on this evening. Now we have trucks out there that our employees use. We have 10 trucks in our workforce. And figuratively, you can see money flying out the tailpipe every time we drive down the road because we're burning fuel and that costs money. So I want to look at that and how we could save money. I got to thinking, what are other companies doing? Have you ever heard of CNG? It's called compressed natural gas. Compressed natural gas is a alternative fuel that is much less expensive than regular gasoline most of the time. Okay? And I thought, well, if other companies are doing that, and I couldn't think of a better idea, why don't we look at that? So I did some analysis. The first thing I want to show you is there's 2 graphs on this, maybe a little difficult to see, but the top curve is the price of gasoline from 2002 to to 2018. And the first thing you'll notice is that thing goes all over the place. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Very volatile. The bottom curve is compressed natural gas. Now you get both gases from the same hole that you drill in the ground. They're just different products in the end. And natural gases, they used to just burn it off. But they found out ways to use it. Actually, Terry could say it operates a lot of our power plants now. He works at PSO. What you'll notice about that curve is it's fairly flat. It's got a little bit of movement, but it's fairly flat compared to regular gas. And it's less expensive. Every year it's been less expensive. So we know we can save money there. Now one of the things you might think about is, what happens if there's not a place to fill up with natural gas? That's the biggest problem with natural gas, is there's not as many pumps as there are regular gas. I'm not proposing that we go for a strictly natural gas vehicle. I'm proposing that we either buy a vehicle that was set up for gas originally and has compressed natural gas as an option, or that we convert a regular gas vehicle to compressed natural gas. So it still has a gas tank. It also has a tank for the compressed natural gas. If you run out of compressed natural gas, you can still operate on your regular gas. So you don't run out of gas in the middle of somewhere where there's no compressed natural gas tanks. Now, just to give you a visual, this is Tulsa, this is Oklahoma City, and all of those dots are places where there are compressed natural gas refueling stations. And you can see Oklahoma's got a lot of them. And since our radius of service to our customers is mostly inside Oklahoma and mostly inside this general area, I don't think we're going to have a hard time keeping filled up with compressed natural gas. I don't think we'll need to use much natural gas, or much regular gas, I'm sorry. If you're worried about whether we're going to run out of it, don't worry about that. The experts say there's over 100 years worth of natural gas in our ground in the United States that we can get. And it's 98% of the natural gas used comes from the United States of America. So I don't think we need to worry about running out of it. Now, let's see where the rubber meets the road. Maybe a little difficult to see. In fact, I'm going to turn the lights off just for a minute so you can see it better. This is a calculator that I found online that shows how much money you can save on natural gas versus regular gas. And I had to make some assumptions. Now, if you want to cut down to the bottom, you can see I'm predicting an annual fuel savings of $37,456. Now, how did I get there? Well, the first assumption I made is, okay, we've got 10 trucks, all right? The next thing is, I think I'm going to look up here because the print's too small in there. We drive those trucks 42,000 miles a year, each one. We get 16.9 miles per gallon on each one of those trucks. And I'm going to estimate, based on that graph I showed you, that we're going to average $3, I'm predicting $3 a gallon in gas over the next, let's say, 10 years. CNG, I'm going to predict $1.50. It's about $1.55 right now, but just for math's sake, I'm going to make it real simple and say it's half of that. And it's going to cost $8,000 if we were going to convert any of these, our vehicles over to natural gas. I'll turn the light back on so we can see. So we have to recover that 8,000 times 10 if we were to convert all. So that's our break-even point, is $80,000. We have to save at least $80,000 to get to break even to pay for the conversion through fuel savings. So what it tells me here through the calculation is just a little bit over 2 years, 2.14 years based on these assumptions, we pay for the conversions. And after that, we save $37,456 a year. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Does that sound like a great idea?
Yes.
All right. A little bit of extra benefit possibly is Oklahoma does give us a tax credit right now for 2020 and 45% of that conversion. I did not include that in my calculation because we have a new administration, a new legislator. They could change that tomorrow, so I'm not going to count on it, but it's there for now, and that's additional savings that we can calculate. Then there's some other things. It's environmentally friendly. You can see in your handout. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Reduced maintenance costs. And there are some performance advantages. Natural gas is 130 octane. Have you seen any gas pumps that say 130 octane? So I think our cars will run on natural gas just fine. What I want to do now is open up the questions because we all have to agree on how we're going to proceed. If I have any questions on the floor about what I've presented to you guys.
So you're proposing converting our current vehicles or purchasing a new fleet?
We could do either one. If we have vehicles that aren't close to the end of their lifespan, then we could consider converting those over, and that's a very valid option. Or if we wanted to and start taking advantage of the savings right away, we could sell all of those 10 vehicles and purchase CNG vehicles right now. Those are decisions that we need to make. Eddie?
What's the mile per gallon CNG versus gasoline?
Well, if we buy the same type of vehicles, it's pretty much the same. The difference is it's a lot less expensive to buy the fuel at the same rate. So if you think about it, if, let's say, in my example, it's $3 for gas and $1.50 for natural gas, and let's say your vehicle's getting 20 miles per gallon on gas right now, effectively you're getting 40 miles per gallon because the cost of the gas is half as much. Does that make sense? Terry?
You're saying reduced maintenance costs, but you're talking about bi-fuel vehicles. So you basically have two operating systems. Are you not actually doubling your maintenance costs rather than a break even there? And do you have any history on maintenance costs using?
The maintenance cost I'm referring to is things like spark plugs and engine type maintenance, because that's the only thing that really the gasoline fuel affects. And if we run mostly natural gas, we will see a benefit. If for some reason we have an employee that's just running all gas, then we wouldn't, but we're going to monitor that and make sure they're using compressed natural gas as much as possible. Ron?
Did you consider the cost of having a CNG gas pump installed at our facility so that we would make sure that when our vehicles left the facility, at least that they would be filled with the CNG?
I have not, but that's a great idea, and that's worthy of research. I know we can do it the way I proposed, but that's another option to consider so that we do have it ready every day. There were some questions over here, Jim.
Based on based on your introduction, you had mentioned that you are not going to increase or decrease or do anything with the employees' wages and benefits.
Correct.
Now, you do have a lot of these employees running around, all around. I'm wondering if you incorporate any of their ideas on your presentation here, or any kind of involvement of your current employees.
Input from the employees?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, several of them have, they know people that work in other industries that use compressed natural gas, and I didn't hear any negative feedback from anyone. Michael?
Now, the in-town bus station, right close to it, it's new CNG
Really?
gas station.
I didn't know about that
Yeah.
one. That's awesome. They are building more all the time. There are going to be more and more of them. Any other questions before we wrap up? All right, thank you very much. Madam Toastmaster.
Well, we have had 3 different types of presentations tonight, which has been very interesting. It has been my great joy to be your Toastmaster of the meeting. Now, with great pleasure,